Dave in Radcliffe, Kentucky. Hey, Dave, you wanted to talk about the heart and soul of the GOP.
Yeah, I wanted to answer that question because actually here in Kentucky, the right-wingers that I converse with and, debate, months ago when the Republican nomination process began, they really touted the fact that there was so much diversity on that stage, and it just proves that Republicans are far more diverse than, their liberal counterparts. I mean, they were really, proud of that. And, you could...
You mean that being represented by Ben Carson?
Ben Carson, Carly Fiorina,
the Democrats had both a man and a woman too, but yeah, okay, got it.
Sure. No, and I could go down in the weeds with them, right? But that was, I would always end up getting the deer in the headlights look. And I started thinking about this. I was like, well, what is the unifying factor? What is the common denominator? What is the heart and soul of the Republican Party? And what I've, surmised is it's really just white privilege. And it doesn't matter about the diversity. Of course, the Republican Party has some diversity. It's the phenomenon of white privilege is looked at as acceptable, and it's looked at as non-deleterious. Like, I look at white privilege as even being harmful to white people. I mean, that's how I look at it.
I do too.
And they I think what unifies them all is this belief that white privilege benefits society as a whole. And like when Donald Trump was talking about, or the media was talking about Donald Trump's running mate, I thought, well, let me listen to this. Maybe with a reasonable running mate, my fear of Donald Trump will go away and I'll become just a reasonable person. And I don't know, they mentioned Newt Gingrich and I panicked. I'm like, man, this is not good.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you that white privilege is certainly one of the pillars of the Republican Party. And I would add to that to the extent that they are the party of fear and loathing, the fear that they are being fearful of is that, white privilege is going away. I mean, California is now a majority-minority state, for example. And, Pat Buchanan wrote a whole book about this. It was basically, and as the browning of America happens, the white folks who want to hang on to that white privilege, they may not even know what it is, and they may not call it that. They've got all these the thinkers in the party have all these code words for it, and the average person doesn't understand it, but they know that something's being taken away from them, and oh my God, they're losing something. Well, in large part, they're being screwed by the oligarchs, by the very, very wealthy among the Republican Party, but they're also being told, blame that on the brown people from Mexico who are taking your jobs. Just like back in the 1950s, they were told, you've got to maintain segregation, because if you don't maintain segregation, then those black people are going to take your jobs. It took really the 50s and 60s to even integrate most unions. And so, for that reason, because, it was all about fear and loathing. So I think you've nailed it. I think you've nailed it, Dave. That was a very good contribution. Thanks, and thanks for listening to Sirius.
To watch more clips from our programs, hit the Watch More Videos button over here. And please be sure to hit the handy-dandy subscribe button so you'll always be up to date. Tag, you're it.